Hello and welcome to the Achieve Optimum Health Summit, where we explore how you can prevent and reverse chronic illness. I'm Angelina Kardash, your summit host. And today, my guests are a lovely couple, Steve and Julie Prussack. They are high school sweethearts who reunited after being disconnected for 20 years. And at age 50, they are examples of aging with vitality and health through juicing. And through their work, they passionately hope to inspire a juicing revolution. Steve and Julie co-authored the #1 best-selling Amazon book, Juice Guru, Transform Your Life by Adding One Juice a Day. And also Steve wrote the complete Idiot's Guide to Juice Fasting. I love that. Welcome, Steve and Julie. I'm so excited to host you here today. I'm a huge fan of yours and absolutely love your personal story.
Hi, guys. Hi, Angelina. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us both on today.
You are welcome. So tell me more about who you are and how did you become Juice Gurus?
We start with you since the story begins with you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, like you say, we're in our 50. I'm over 50 now, and I have a lot of energy. I feel amazing. I eat a plant-based diet, and I've been doing that for 26 years. But before that point, I was out of college, overweight, out of shape, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without panting, smoking over a pack of cigarettes a day, frat boy, just off to a bad start. I was destined for disease. And it was juicing for me that woke me up. It turned it all around so that when I did, and you talked about the complete Idiot's Guide to Juice Fasting, it was during one of my first juice fasts that nicotine came out the tips of my fingers. It was a black soot that smelled like nicotine. My body had cleansed itself, and it just made me, really want to get this word out, to get people to eat more plant foods, to get people to juice. And then Julie and I had gone down separate roads. We were high school sweethearts, and we reconnected after over 20 years, and I wasn't the same Steve she knew in high school.
No, so my story picks up about 10 years ago, but I would go back, like Steve, you just said, back to high school where we really didn't eat well. But we were young and we didn't feel it. It wasn't until Steve got out of college and until I had my son, and he's now 13. But when Steve and I got back together, I still was carrying extra weight. I was really tired. I was juggling life, and my son was really
Reflux.
young. I had chronic reflux, and I was taking medication for it. And I was eating a standard American diet. I thought I was eating really healthy, but I certainly wasn't juicing, and I wasn't eating plant-based. Steve came in, taught me everything, and for 10 years, that's what I've been doing. And at 50, I feel way better than I did at 40 when we got back together. So
You guys look amazing, literally amazing. I can't believe your both are 50. Great job. And I love those transformational stories, and the viewers get inspired by looking at the personal stories. I mean, where you been before and where are you now? And we all have those sort of transformational story, and this is very powerful.
Yeah, I mean, our friends, class of 1987, they're coming to me now like, oh, maybe you were right. Like, what are you doing? You had to live this life to really see after all the years that it does pay off. And you hear people that, well, I tried doing this for, a month and I didn't feel good. So I went back, and you really have to dive in and do it.
Yeah, so fruits and vegetables are pure gifts from Mother Nature. And as we hear on this summit from many plant-based doctors in the movement, they are the most natural way to heal your body and make yourself whole again. And today I would like to talk to you about fresh vegetable and fruit juices. Since the turn of the 20th century, fresh juices have come into our own life, and their value is now definitely recognized by the health conscious people and medical professionals. And since you are both experts in this area, I would like to explore why do you think we should opt for it? And let me start with the first question. Why is juicing so powerful?
Oh, what a great question.
yeah.
And you want to start this one? I'll let you start.
Sure. Well, I think I would start with exactly where you just started, and that is what goes into a juice. So it is those fruits, it is those vegetables, the things that we know from science are the cancer fighters, the things that we know are going to help to prevent other chronic disease and help your body overall, help your energy level. And as we've learned through the years, but also in writing our book, Juice Guru, about daily juicing, there are now studies out there that talk about, anything from grape juice to kale juice to, juiced beet juice, that those things are being proven just in the juice form to help prevent disease and to help cure disease.
Here's the problem. Only 9% of Americans are getting the daily required amount of fruits and vegetables in their diet. Only 9%. And even people following the vegan diet aren't eating enough fruits and vegetables. So when we use a juicer, and there's a difference between a juicer and a blender, we're able to extract those nutrients from the fruits and vegetables that we're not sitting at the table and eating, and we can get a power potion into our body, and it gets absorbed within 15 minutes because we drink it on an empty stomach. So it gets absorbed into our body. We don't have to digest it. We have to break it all down. And so there's a reason that juicing is used in cancer clinics like Gerson Clinic, Hippocrates Health Institute, Oasis of Healing in Arizona, and all over Europe. They're using juicing, not smoothies, but juicing.
Yeah. So, Dr. Fuhrman talks a lot about nutritarian diet, and what you just said, basically, I mean, you kind of empower this diet, right, by juicing, because, I mean, with juices, you can get all the nutrients that basically missing from your diet.
You don't miss a thing. And that our protocol is first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, because that way there's nothing to get in the way with the absorption. We don't have to digest anything. And that's when we really see the results. We feel more energized. We're not eating a heavy breakfast. It's a great way to start your day. And yeah, because even if we eat a big salad, we're not getting all the nutrients from it. Our teeth, we're not chewing it into a pulp. We're not breaking it down the way we can when we extract the fiber from our juice. And we're not saying it has to be wasteful. We use the fiber we use the pulp from our juice in our dog food. Our dog is thriving. Our pit bull rescue he's thriving at 9 years old, or we'll use it to compost, or we'll use it to make crackers or veggie burgers or something else. It doesn't have to be wasteful, and this is really the superior way to live for your health.
Right, and we're not saying, we are big proponents of eating your fiber as well. And so really the method is, unless you're cleansing, and Steve always says do that 4 times a year, but unless you're cleansing and all you're consuming is juices, it's 1 juice a day, that first thing in the morning, and then getting lots of fruits and vegetables and salads and in your food, so you're getting the fiber as well.
That's the secret. People start to crave more fruits and vegetables. We had a vegan magazine at one time, Veg World magazine. It continues to this day. We sold it a few years ago, and it's amazing what they're doing with it. But we decided that the best way to educate our friends and family wasn't say, go vegan, but rather, here, have a juice. That's something everyone can do. And the secret is you start to crave more fruits and vegetables. You start to eliminate the processed junk, the salt, sugar, fat, and everything the doctors are talking about here on the summit. And that's the secret behind the message of why a juice a day and why we're a juice guru.
And I think this is so powerful for kids. My kids, I mean, my older one, she's 14, and she was raised on the standard American diet, because at that time I didn't know anything about plant-based. And now we transitioned the entire family to a plant-based diet. And it's easy for her to drink just like a fruit. And even I mix some vegetable into that, and she loves it, right? So, and really, I mean, she started to drink now smoothies, and I mean, she's more cautious with what she eats. So that helps. And also, I like the idea, what you talked about, of no waste. And I mean, me being a raw vegan, I use juice pulp for basically making those raw vegan crackers in a dehydrator, and they're delicious.
Oh, lots of things you can do like that. And in our book, we actually have a lot of recipes for how to use that pulp by celebrity chef Babette. But yeah, we have a 13-year-old, my son, Steve's stepson, and we do exactly that. Because kids can drink juice. Our parents who are much older, they drink daily juice. We wouldn't say they necessarily should do a juice cleanse, or kids should do a juice cleanse, but all kids can drink juice, and they love it. They really love it. And now our son also craves salads, and he loves to eat lots of vegetables in his diet.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Over 90. Oh, sorry. Go.
Tell me, guys, about food enzymes in relationship to juices and why they are beneficial to our body.
Enzymes and juicing? Because, I mean, that's what I was going to say, because like the raw food, that's what we need more of. We're over-processing, overcooking, boiling, and denaturing our food to death. And it is the living food that we thrive from. And again, a lot of people are, and like you say, a lot of plant-based people aren't getting enough of the living enzymes in the juices. And that's why it's really important what kind of juicer we use to extract the vegetables and fruit. We have to make sure we're not heating up the juice. It's not one of those centrifugal juicers spinning really fast and warming up your juice.
Right.
We use a slow cold press juicer to extract, because we got to get those living enzymes in our body. But we should also talk about the colon. Over 90% of diseases start in the colon. We've got to get our colons clean before we can even have any benefit from eating any type of diet, whether it be a whole food vegan diet, a raw food diet. If we're not clean in the colon, we're not going to absorb it the proper way. And that's why we talk about the cleansing and getting the mucoid plaque out of your colon, so then we can better absorb the fruits and vegetables, the living enzymes that's inherent in all the raw foods on the planet, the fruits and vegetables. And that's why we love juicing so much. And you feel the difference. Smoothies, they're great. You know, the green smoothies are great, but they're oxidized. They've been processed at very high speed. They've been broken down. And then they've got all that fiber that takes a long time for your body to digest. And people are drinking a 32-ounce smoothie. That's a lot of fiber for your body to digest. There's a reason we can't sit and eat that much food. Julie, anything to add to that?
No, just I was going to add the oxidation piece, but you already added that. And definitely you want to do those cold press juicer, and get those enzymes in, and that helps you to digest it even quicker. So when we talk about why we do it on an empty stomach, it takes hours for food to digest through your stomach. So when you're doing on an empty stomach and you're drinking a juice, it can take 15 minutes for that juice to get through and start assimilating in your body. And it's being done along with the live enzymes, which makes that process even faster.
Yeah, so you guys just touched on the different types of juicers. So that was one of my next questions, but let's talk about that now. So I know that there is a how we call it, the juicer, and it's a slow heating juicer. So what is the difference, and which model would you recommend to our audience to own?
Yeah, I mean, the cold press slow juicers rotate usually in the 47 to 49 rotations per minute. So they're not, it's not heating up it's not oxidizing the fruits and vegetables, it's extracting it. There's the higher end, the twin gears that crush and pulverize. It's almost like your teeth are chewing it. So we get a superior juice that way. We can fill it to the top of our mason jar. We can then seal it, put it in the freezer till we get it down to about 37 degrees Fahrenheit. And our freezer, that's about an hour. We're not freezing it, but we chill it, and then we put it into the refrigerator, and we've got enough juice for 3 days doing it that way from a cold press twin gear juicer. That was our top choice, or the Norwalk juicer, or the Pure juicer, which is an improved version of the Norwalk. That's a 2-stage juicer. That's a little more time consuming than the other juicers out there, like the twin gear. Now you can, start to finish, you can wash your produce, juice, clean up, all within what?
Oh, well, we do. I was going to say within 15 minutes, I can do that. And I want to say one of the things we like to do, Steve and I at Juice Guru, is to make juicing really easy, because a lot of people will say, it takes too much time to clean my juicer, or it takes too much time from start to finish. So we've got the process down. If I want to make my son a juice in the morning, I can make him apple, carrots, beet, lemon, greens. I can do it within 15 minutes if I use something like the TriBest Slow Star. That's one of the juicers we like to recommend. It's a slow juicer. It's not going to extract the most as some of the other juicers we might use, but it's very easy to clean and very easy to use. So, and it's a vertical juicer, so it doesn't take up a lot of space, because you want to have that juicer out on your counter, so it's something that you go to all the time. So Those are the things we look at.
The Slow Star or the Huron is another one. I think the Slow Star has a longer warranty on that juicer, but those are the vertical upright juicers. They're slow juicers, and we love them, easy to clean up. The horizontal ones, those are the ones that are the cold press with the twin gears, or some have a single gear. Again, the keys to look for: cold press, slow juicers that rotate at a slow speed. Those are the juices that will last 24 hours to 72 hours, depending on the juicer and the juice you make and the combination you make. And a lot of that's untested. Some people say you should drink it right away. We do find fresh is best, but we'll drink it 1 day, 2 days after, and it's still really great juice.
Yeah, we use really good juicers, but the best juicer is the juicer that you use, right, Steve?
That's right, Julie.
And what is that?
Whatever one you use that works for you, that's the best
Like
juicer.
some people have a $99 juicer that they got.
Right.
And it's like,
Right.
all right, I don't have the money for that. The best juicer is the one you use. The best produce to use is organic. If you can't get organic, you at least want to say non-GMO. You want to get the best vegetables and fruit through that juicer. But if not, we're not going to say don't, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, that expression that everyone uses, but you still want to juice, even if it's conventional, there's still benefits to that. And there's some people like Dr. Norman Walker who said that the pesticides are in the fiber anyway.
Yes.
It's not tested. We don't know for sure. We prefer to use organic because we're concentrated vegetables and fruit. In the 1930s and 40s, when he wrote those books, the pesticides weren't what they were today. So we do say organic is best. If not, adhere to the Clean 15 or Dirty Dozen. We have a blog post about that when it comes to juicing, so you can pick the best produce for your juicer.
All right. Is there any difference between blending and juicing?
Oh, big difference, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would start with the first fact that what we were saying is there is the insoluble fiber that is in your smoothie, not in your juice. So when we said that it takes hours for food to start to assimilate and get through even just your stomach, that's not the case with juice. Juice is already, Steve, you like to say, juice is already chewed and digested for you, kind of, and a smoothie is just chewed, right, Steve?
Basically, yeah, that is part. And the problem is people are getting fooled by these infomercials that say this is a NutriBlast juice. And so people started thinking that smoothies were juices because of those slick advertising. And it's just not true. That was a marketing message made by a infomercial company to sell you a cheap blender to say that this is superior and better than juicing. And it's just not true.
Right.
And so we've been doing a lot of undoing of the misinformation between blending and juicing. And we know that juicing is superior. We still blend, we still make smoothies, and it's a great addition to your diet. But if you're looking for superior nutrition, if you're looking to get more fruits and vegetables into your body, well, then we know the juice has 2 times more nutrients than that smoothie, pound for pound, ounce for ounce, if you put the same amount into each one.
Right.
And there's a reason for that.
Right. There's two major reasons for that. Number one is the oxidation factor that Steve was talking about earlier. When you use a blender as opposed to a cold pressed juicer, you're getting a lot of oxidation. And when you think of oxidation, you think about if you cut an apple and it turns brown, you start losing nutrients right away. So oxygen is getting in there. That doesn't happen with a cold pressed juicer. So that's number one for why it's more nutritious. And number two, you can just get more because you're extracting out that pulp. You can get more fruits and vegetables and their nutrients into a juice. What Steve was showing, the mason jar of juice, than you can into the same size smoothie.
So what I'm hearing that you guys advocate to incorporate juicing into the daily life, just for basically absorbing more nutrients in our diet, but also you recommend juicing as a form of fasting. So let's talk about that. Why it's beneficial.
Yeah, and the doctors, we have a certification program. We certify people to be juice therapists and really spread this, become part of the juice revolution. And the doctors, we have Dr. Gabriel Cousins, Dr. Thomas Lodi, Dr. Fuhrman, who's here on the summit, who oversees our brand, and the people in our program. Everyone, they disagree about a lot of things when it comes to juicing. Green juice versus fruit juice versus, there's a lot of conflicting opinions about that. But one thing they all agree on, and we agree too, is that we need to cleanse 3 to 4 times a year. I say 4. With the changing seasons is best. It's just sort of a renewal. And if you've never done it before, if you could just do 1 day, and then next season, you can do 3 days. And then the season after that, maybe you can try for 7 days. And then maybe the 4th season of the year, we're coming up on the new year, that 4th season, maybe you're going to go for 10 days. And what we find I've been doing this 26 years of doing this religiously, your body seems to pick up where it left off. When we go back into the cleansing mode, we start to get deep into it. We start to let go of more. Our body works better. Our digestion works better. And so we become really in tune with how our body is working. We need to be aware of what's going in our mouth, how it's coming out. Are we going to the bathroom enough, right? Are we evacuating enough? Are we? Because once a day, some say we should be going more than that. So we want to make sure the machines are working well. Like I said earlier, over 90% of disease starts in the colon. And if that's working well, I mean, there are no nerve endings in your colon to say, hey, things are going wrong, like when we stab ourselves with a pen by accident. Your intestines aren't saying that. So we go wrong with what we eat because it's a blessing and a curse. If your intestines could tell you that, we'd be in discomfort all the time because we're digesting all the time. We'd be feeling every little thing. So it wasn't set up that way.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that?
I mean, Steve is really the expert when it comes to juice cleansing. So I would leave it at that. Other than it also gives your body a break. I definitely need a break, aside from the cleansing that's going on and all the work that it's doing. Just a break from eating that solid food is always good for your body.
And you can include herbs with that if you want to go deeper. You know, there's lots of ways to mix it up. Some people go really long juice fasts. I find you can go short ones and just really go intense and get a really good result. And yes, I do recommend enemas or colonics during this. I have a Kalama board and I love it. A home colonic. Is that right? Colonic.
Yes.
Yeah, colonic. I thought I was saying it wrong for a minute. But it's important, seriously. And this is something, when I wrote my book, Complete Its Guide to Juice Fasting, it's been such an evolution to be where I am with it now. I don't even talk about that as deeply as I feel about it now because I've tried it the other way. And I've tried doing juice cleanses every way. I've done every juice cleanse you could imagine under the book. I've tried incorporating colonics, enemas, not doing colonics or enemas, including psyllium husk to help move things along, including herbs, what works best, what doesn't. And I can say honestly that if you're doing a cleanse, every day of that cleanse, once or twice, you're going to want to do an enema in the morning and in the evening, or get a round of colonics with your local hydrotherapist, because that's going to help get that mucoid plaque out. And that, I'm telling you, we've got things in there from when we were kids. It doesn't matter. I was raw vegan and I go on and off with that. And I cleansed my body. And I still, to this day, living in a toxic world, eating the best we can, but the food is poison. We need this. We need to keep doing this. We're never in a state where we're good now. It's a practice we have to keep going back to every 3 months. And that's why I say wherever you are on the journey starts. Have you done a cleanse before?
I did, yeah. I water fast, often, and I also do juice fast because it's just more safest approach. And this is why on this summit we talk about fasting and water fasting a lot also. And my guests were Dr. Goldhammer and Dr. Nathan Gershfeld, and we approach that from the different perspective. And actually they say that water fast is much safer in a clinic. So that's just the optimal way for people to fast, right?
I totally agree. And that's why when I told you can go shorter and go more intense, when I'm doing that, I'm doing mainly water fasting and I'm doing a little bit of juice maybe, but I get superior results, but I'm not going to a clinic. So, we have to be in tune with our body to know exactly what we're doing. I know people have gotten in trouble with water fasting on their own and not, so we don't recommend that, because we're trying to teach people to do this at home, wherever they are on the diet, and the juice fasting can be really effective, but we all go deeper on our journey of cleansing, and water fasting might be scary to some people too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's not a pleasurable experience. I mean, people get all kinds of symptoms, and and you can be, you can feel really, really pretty bad doing the water fast. And it's different for me. It's much different on juice fast. So, I can fast for a week. I fast on juice up to 3 weeks, and I was totally fine. And I felt so refreshed, and basically I eliminated a lot of toxins from my body. So it does help.
Yeah. And I think we grow as we fast, and, and so instead of jumping into a water fast, like to do some juice fasting, to get used to that, to doing half a day of water while you're doing your juice fast, to then working your way up to a day of water and then 2 days of juicing. these are all really great practices, and your body is going to reward you. And it's a physical, emotional, spiritual, and energetic experience like nothing else in the world. And I think it's a gift. And every time I'm in it, and I'm getting ready, I'm going to do another one. I'm always getting ready for my next one. I can't wait because I don't feel deprived. I don't feel like I'm missing food, and I know I'm going to go deeper. My body's going to pick up where we left off, and I'm going to let go of things, including emotions. And it's that spirituality that comes with it too, and this connection that I love too. There's a lot of gifts. I told Julie last time I did a cleanse, I'm like, I feel like this, cleansing or just knowing what I know and implementing it is a real gift.
And the only thing I would add, the only thing I would add to it is, sometimes people use, or a lot of times, people use a cleanse just for the weight loss. And I think you will get great results. It definitely helps to jumpstart any weight loss, and you'll see those results. But a lot of times people don't take care of themselves between the cleanses. And so that's why Steve developed what we call the Juice Guru method, which combines the 4 times a year doing a cleanse, however long that is, but not then going back and doing what a lot of people say, which is just go ahead and eat what you want. You'll just cleanse and you'll get it all out again. But instead, to do the maintenance of having that habit of 1 juice a day in between, so your body just stays. When Steve said you always go back and you pick up where you left off in the last cleanse, I think a lot of that is because Steve maintains in between. And so that's why we recommend also doing the daily juice habit. The two go both by themselves are really powerful, and the studies are showing that, but both combined is even more powerful.
Well, we came up to that, and that was how we got our last book deal for the Juice Guru book, because that's what it's based on, the juice a day. And so the problem we solved, I did a survey of over 200 people that had done juice cleanses, and 100% of them gained the weight back within a few months. Like, they lose weight and they gain the weight back, and they couldn't figure out, why are they going up and down? Why is it? And so we found that coming up, personally doing it myself and with Julie and other friends, and then our community of Juice Guru community, and trying this out before we wrote the book about it and the protocol that we wrote, we found that we were able to maintain the weight by coming off the juice cleanse and continuing that habit of the juice a day in the morning, first thing on an empty stomach. We don't eat for at least 20 minutes after, and then we push, and then we don't eat till lunch. It becomes like an intermittent fasting. It lined up with all the things being taught out there, this simple way that people could implement this, get more fruits and vegetables in their body, keep the results what they had, stay lean, keep the tongue sensitive so you recognize what's good and what's not. And that's part of it. Our taste buds become awakened as we get more clean. We start to let go of those addictions from childhood, the sugar, salt, fats, and all that, processed food.
Absolutely, absolutely. I strongly believe in that our taste buds are quickly adjustable. I mean, I can see it on myself. I can see it, from the experience transitioning my teenage daughter to a plant-based diet, even though she still sometimes, eats something processed, but vegan. Still, but I see that slowly, even with kids with the sensory disorders that just eat maybe a limited amount of foods, it still, shows that taste buds can be adjusted. It just will take them slowly.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. And Julie has a son, and he goes back and forth to her ex-husband, and he feeds, he's 13, like she said, and he feeds him standard American diet. He comes here and we cleanse him with juices, and Julie makes whole food, right?
That's right. So
whole plant food.
He'll go away on a trip or something, and with his dad, and he'll come back and he's a little bit backed up, a little constipated. He'll be stuffed up. He won't feel really well, and I'll just put him right on juices, salads, and get him. And he's amazed at how much better he feels within just.
He comes in, he's like, I want salad.
Yeah,
he's
like,
give me salad. He wants salads for snacks. And I'm like, well, where do you see a kid? I wasn't like that at 13. I'll say that. And she knows that.
That's right. Well, we weren't together quite 13, but 15, I remember.
But so, yeah. Mm-hmm. So we do the best we can.
Can you guys tell me what are the health promoting juices and other vegetable or fruit juices or a combination? So what is the ideal?
Thank you for that. Now that's a hard one, right? Because if we talk to Dr. Gabriel Cousens, he's going to tell you just keep it green. And Hippocrates Health Institute, Dr. Clement's going to tell you just green juices. If we read the historic data on juice therapy and Dr. Norman Walker, Dr. Jensen, and some of the juice therapies they were doing then, they always talked about the fruit juices were really good for cleansing. Yeah. Where's mine? I'll show you yours. You know, I mean,
we have same edition.
Oh, you're so funny. I'm trying to get a first edition. I geek out on this stuff. I follow this. You know, I follow the historic data based on, you know, what we know and the science and the thousands of people Dr. Norman Walker worked with juicing. And so, yeah, the fruit juices are great for cleansing. And I'll tell you, when I got my book deal, Complete Age Guide to Juice Fasting, I had only done really fruit, more like Gerson therapy, carrot, apple, ginger, because the juice man, Jay Cordich, who I've done work with, we lost him a few years ago. And, you know, we carry on his legacy. But when I partnered with him, like that was the juices that they were drinking, that Dr. Gerson was recommending. And Dr. Walker, and these, so right, where there were apples in there, and there were things that they're not green juices, and so, and I found that I was able to cleanse on fruit juices, and then I transitioned and grew and wanted more green juices. Now we crave the green juices more. We feel amazing on the green juices, and we don't include really much fruit juice in there, but sometimes we do. We do a carrot, beet, you know, apple. Ginger juice with some lemon, you know, that'll be a juice that we'll have. But so when I'm doing a juice cleanse, so are we talking about juice cleansing or daily juicing?
Either way.
I think you're answering it either way, in both ways.
Yeah, so then I would say the fruit juices are great for cleansing, and if your palate isn't ready for green juices, then doing a carrot apple to start. If you're doing it with kids, apple with a little bit of spinach, or just some apple to get them acclimated. Apple, pear, spinach, apple, pear, strawberry is a great one that Eli likes. And for you too, if you have a sweet tooth, those are the nice juices to start with. But you're going to find as you grow in your juice journey, like I did, that you start to crave the ones that they're recommending to Hippocrates and Dr. Cousens. You want more of those green juices, those alkalizing juices, the celery cucumber base with some lemon. Always celery cucumber, that's our template recipe. We have a template recipe, and it's 5 core ingredients. They're available year round. It's a green juice. It's anti-inflammatory. So there was a reason we chose this. A lot of people get into juicing. They buy a bunch of produce, and what happens?
Right. They one day they want this kind of juice. The next day they want that kind of juice, and they end up throwing out a lot of produce that goes bad.
Right. Yep.
This helps them to do that. This helps them to always have it in their refrigerator. And did you say all the core?
Well, I said the celery, cucumber, lemon is the core liquid part. And then we mix it up so we're not always drinking the same thing. We need variation. We don't want to become toxic, right? If we're putting the same produce in our body, no matter how good it is. And with the oxalates, with kale and spinach, we want to be careful, especially if we have thyroid issues. So it's celery, cucumber, lemon, and then we'll include maybe some spinach, or maybe some kale, or maybe some chard, or dandelion greens, or fresh weeds if you have unsprayed weeds. That kind of thing. And then maybe spice it up with either ginger or turmeric or cayenne pepper. And it's going to really be good for your blood and flow and everything like that. It's just so easy. That's why we call it the template recipe, because it has all of the, I think I had one here. Did I?
No, I don't think you do.
That one recipe has over, maybe 50 different combinations on what you can make with this. So we did this as a tape to your wall kind of poster that people can be reminded, oh, those are the 5 ingredients, and I can mix it up this way, and it's really nice. And I think these are all over the world at this point, because we give this away to our community, and it's a great way to develop what it says at the top, the daily classic, the daily juice habit, and it's a green juice.
Other like 5, what I saw in a picture, other like 5 ingredients or 3, because you mentioned celery, lemon, and what else?
There's 5, and in the main ingredient, in the main template, it's ginger as the 5th.
Ginger.
But it's always a flavor enhancer or something that we use a lot of jalapeno. Sometimes today's juice had jalapeno in it.
That's
Love
right.
That. So we're already done with it, but yes, had jalapeno. So something that's going to really kick it into another gear. Because not only, we said before, juicing should be easy. So it's something that you
Right.
do all the time, but it also should be something that you love, something that is delicious, because juices can be so amazing. When you put the celery and lemon together in a juice and you combine it with other things, that's salty. It's really delicious. And if you're going to put something spicy in, it makes it even better if that's your thing.
And your audience is saying right now, all right, it sounds good for them and okay, but I don't have the time. It's going to be expensive and all those things we're ready to combat, right? It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. It can be really easy. It can be, and I'm telling you this too, that's why we're doing our 7-day juice a day challenge, because we know that if once people start doing this and trying it for 7 days and drinking that juice first thing in the morning for 7 days, you start to miss it. You start to crave it. You don't feel as good when you don't get it in. You don't feel energized. People are giving up coffee and other stimulants because of the daily juice habit. And then they transition and they want to do our recharge 4 times a year. And we start doing that cleanse with them with the changing seasons. So part of what we're doing is we're supporting our community with this protocol that we know works.
That's fabulous. I love that. Yeah. Let me ask you one question. So we just talked about the celery juice, and we all heard that about the potent healing properties of the celery juice, and some people call it miraculous superfood. So, and all the celebrities are into that. So what is your take on that? And should we incorporate the intake of celery juice in your daily life?
Right, and I know it's been polished off and marketed. Celery juice is the big thing, and Dr. Norman Walker talked about it though. He's got a whole thing on celery juice and the benefits of celery juice, and we think it's a phenomenal addition to your juicing habit, but it's definitely not, and we talked to Dr. Fuhrman about this too, and it's better to include other things. He's like, bok choy is just as high, has as much sodium clusters as celery does. And, and they're really escalating the price of celery because it's become such a fad because of, the information out there about celery juice and the juicing habit, which is funny because we started that, our book came before that. So it was fun. It was nice to see. It's nice to see that it's been embraced, that Dr. Norman Walker's celery juice is now becoming a thing, that you can't find celery juice on the thing and on the store front. Sometimes. But we're also saying these other cancer fighting and immune building and other vegetables to include in your juice, and it tastes a lot better too than just celery juice. Mm-hmm. And why just that? But no, of course you should have a celery juice, and maybe your second juice of the day be a vegetable juice, or today you had a celery juice, tomorrow you'll have a vegetable juice, a green juice. And so we think it's a great transition into this lifestyle. We're really excited about that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's become very popular, which I think is really great, because as long as somebody's juicing celery, then they have a juicer and they can juice everything else too. So yes, celery juice is very beneficial for all the millions of reasons that you hear, and there's no question about that. That's why we drink it in the template recipe. That's why we drink it just about every day. We've got some celery in there. However, science is showing that everything that you can juice, from grapes, we were saying, fruit versus vegetables. Grapes, great for your brain, great for your memory. There are studies on that if you drink it every day. Cherries, cherry juice, really good for athletes healing more quickly.
I never heard of the cherry juice.
Yeah, so all of these things are being shown scientifically. So there are benefits to everything, every fruit and every vegetable.
Well, and there were studies about beet juice and athletic performance, recovering from athletic performance, and kale juice for lowering cholesterol. And Dr. Michael Greger has some of those studies up on his site. We try to share that. And we're excited that he figured out a way to get that message out. And we're like, well, we were trying the juice today. Maybe it's just easier for people to just think one thing, celery through the juicer. I don't have to overthink all this other stuff. And that's why it became popular, and we're really excited. Whatever it takes to get people into this lifestyle, we're definitely behind 100%.
100%.
Absolutely. And just recently, by talking to Dr. Fuhrman, he mentioned bok choy, and I got 2 days ago bok choy from my local farmer's market store, and it's still sitting in my refrigerator. I'm trying to figure out how I can mix it up with the other vegetables. So what do you guys will recommend for me, how I can mix up bok choy?
You do the same thing we would have in the template recipe. Throw in some cucumber, a little bit of lemon, maybe a full lemon and a cucumber or two with your bok choy, and then throw in some spinach or kale or whatever. And
Swiss chard or dandelion greens if you like a little bitter to it. And that's a great juice and a great way to use that bok choy.
just
Yeah,
like
I
Better
will
than eating
definitely
it.
try that. I will definitely try that today. Thank you for sharing your recipe. So since on this summit, we talk a lot about optimum health and prevention of chronic illness. So can juices really help in managing and treating chronic conditions?
You know,
That's a tough one, right?
I feel like crying when you ask, because we do this work and we get the message out and you really never know where it's landing. And when I get those emails of people that are recovering from all kinds of diseases, and I don't want to name them because I don't want any industries coming after me over it. That's why I'm very careful with my message. But I'll tell you, when I hear about people overcoming these these diseases that the doctors have given up on them and they've incorporated juicing and not even changed their diet. So to see that they're not even going on a raw vegan diet and they're just adding the juices and they're overcoming diseases, and I see it over and over again from my audience getting this message out, there's no doubt that this is an important staple in overcoming disease, preventing disease, and it should be part of every lifestyle, in my opinion. Julie?
Yeah, and I'll share a personal story just of my own parents. So my mother and my father, they are in their late 70s, and because I'm with Steve and because they sometimes they listen to us, not always, they started a daily juice regimen. They've been doing it now for over a year, that they daily juice every day religiously. And my mother, who has
no change to the diet.
No change to the diet at all, unfortunately. We've been trying to use it as the portal for them. But regardless, my mother, who has had lots of different issues with her health, went recently to the doctor, had a blood test, and had perfect blood results. My dad has chronic back pain. If he doesn't juice for one day, he feels it, and he believes that if he just juices, he'll feel a lot better because of the anti-inflammatory effect of all of these fruits and vegetables. So studies don't lie. There are more and more studies coming out. We have them in our book.
Yeah.
There are more every day. Steve is saying we know from anecdotal evidence from the thousands of people in the juice guru community, many of whom write to us, and just from the people that are around us, we know that it has healing properties. And from ourselves, I feel phenomenal. Like I said, Steve and I got back together. I was 40. I'm 50 now. I definitely feel better, and I do a lot of juggling in my life.
And no medications.
No medication.
No.
And I was taking medication every day. Not anymore.
No medication, no doctor visits. We have 9 pages of resources in our book of studies that point to this. The truth is out there about all of this. It works. It's just a matter of overcoming the obstacles to get there. And there are people out there that are against juicing, that say it's not the best thing, that eating foods whole are better. And we agree that we want to eat as much fruits and vegetables in their raw state and get that fiber in, and there's a magic in that too. But the truth is people aren't. And like I said, only 9% of Americans are getting the amount every day. 9%. And the fact that they can exceed it in that daily juice, they can exceed that 9% and be doing better than their friends and family, or better than what they're doing in the next week or two from that one juice. There's a reason it works. You know, it really does work. And I think the people that are against it aren't understanding, you know, how important it is, what kind of juicer we use, that we're not just, you know, it's not just a high blender oxidized mess, that we're not really extracting the nutrients. When you use that proper extractor, you're getting things that you're not chewing out of the vegetables and fruit. We can juice all of the vegetable that we're not eating and therefore get more phytonutrients into our body. That's part of why we, in the studies that we've been doing and the research, that's why we see that it works. I didn't know when I started this 26 years ago, it was mainly to, you know, lower my cholesterol and my blood pressure, which it did, and stop me from obesity, which it did. And I haven't experienced any health issues since. And I do attribute it to the juicing habit and, you know, our diet too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely. I fully agree with that. We all have this, you know, powerful experience, and thank you so much for sharing your story, guys. And I just want to encourage our viewers to take the time and check your website, which is juicingchart.com, correct?
Yeah, that's the free gift I gave you guys. It's a juicing chart. It's not even the template recipe. It's even better. It's a permachart info chart that they sell for like $8 on their website that we had made for Juice Guru, and we're going to give it to you free. It's the most it shows you a 1-day juice fast. It shows you the different kinds of juicers that you could pick, the best produce that you should use for juicing. Everything is in this chart, so it's a more comprehensive for your educated audience. We thought that'd be a better choice than just the template recipe.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for your generous gift. That I'll personally check it out, and yeah, we'll use recipes from your book. So thank you so much for being with us today. And again, I mean, please log into this link to learn how to make juicing a part of your lifestyle for optimum health. Stay healthy always. I'm your host, Angelina Kardash, and thank you for watching us.